Hello everyone, welcome to the second of our winter seminar series. So today we've got a rare treat. We've got a guest who has come from very far away and who's only in the UK for, 10 days total, give or take. So we're very lucky that he decided to spend one of his precious evenings with us. So Shavez Cheema is a researcher, a conservationist, but I think in this talk today and in your tour of the UK, he is a guide and he's the author of multiple guides around Borneo. So today, he's also the founder of the organization One Stop Borneo, and he's working on reforestation projects to encourage mammal diversity. So he's a man of many talents, and today we will hear from him about mammals of Borneo. So please give a warm welcome to Shavez Cheema.
Thank you. So first of all, can you all clearly hear me? Okay, fine. First of all, thank you so much for all being here, and thank you so much, Joanna. I was first in touch with Chris in 2020, and Alison actually, in 2020, and then, pandemic happened, etc. And now I'm here finally. So first of all, I'm so happy you guys are here. Thank you again. So let me do a quick introduction about myself. My name is Shavez Cheema, and I'm from the island of Borneo. Has anybody been to Borneo before? Wow, no wonder okay. No wonder a lot of people are here. Christian, did you see that? A lot of people are from Borneo, man. Yeah. So, I'm from the island of Borneo. I was born and raised in Brunei, and then I moved to Sabah 10 years ago. I run a conservation group called One Stop Borneo Wildlife, and we do mostly reforestation by planting wildlife favorite food, mostly figs, ficus. There are 160 species. Some cater for bats, some for gibbons, some for flower peckers, some for hornbills, some for mouse deers, etc. So we have 2 nurseries, 3 reforestation sites in Tawau, in Duramakot, and in Brunei. We have a 24-hour rescue service on pangolins and pythons, and education program as well. So that's my conservation part. A few years ago, I thought about something. I don't want to offend anybody, but this is a big problem in conservation and among scientists and my own NGO friends. I realized a big problem: sustainability, money. We're all basically professional beggars, always asking for money, left, right, and center. And I thought, this is not sustainable. What do I do? What can I do to be more sustainable? So I started a travel company as well. So we are basically ecologists leading certain mammal-watching or herping trips to sustain our reforestation projects and so on. And like Joanna said, I have published a few field guides, like a field guide to Tawau Hills Park, a national park I'm based in, Mammals of Borneo, a pocket guide to Mammals of Borneo. You guys can have a look through it after this. And actually another reason why I'm in England right now, because I was here for the World Travel Mart, which was in Excel in London. I just published my own travel guide. It's like the Lonely Planet. We call it the Borneo Nature Travel Guide, 700 pages. It's free for anybody to download. That's why the QR code here. So if you're ever coming to Borneo, lots of pictures, lots of text on how to get to different parks in Borneo. So today my talk will be on Mammals of Borneo. If you are a hardcore scientist, I'm sorry, I'm going to disappoint you, because my talk is not very technical. It's not very detailed. It is a very generic talk, very public-friendly talk. And of course, you guys can drill me later on if you want. My talk over here, I'll be sharing some facts, but mostly just food for thought. So if you guys have any questions during the talk, you can raise hands, or I think we'll have a question and answer session later on. So that was a quick introduction. So, Mammals of Borneo. This is the park I live in. Actually, I have a friend called Christian here. He's in Wild Crew. He's my neighbor in Tawau Hills Park. And so he will know this is true. And this is basically behind my room. Public red-leaf monkeys. These are endemic red-leaf monkeys. There are not many parks on Borneo where wildlife comes close to you. Animals are habituated here, in the sense that they're not feeling scared. Most parts of Borneo or in Southeast Asia, animals are very skittish. So this is my vision for Borneo. animals and the mass public enjoy next to each other. So I have lots of topics I'll be talking about, but not in each detail. Actually, all of them are topics, presentations on their own, if you realize. You know, you can have a topic on bats only, flying squirrels only. So I'm just going to cover quickly on each topic. So, Borneo, we have almost 240 species of mammals, all around 60 endemics, mostly bats. And as you can see, we have the different layers of the canopy. Actually, we have 5 layers. The emergent layer, which can be 70 to 80 meters. We have the canopy layer, which is the middle layer. We have the understory layer, the ground layer. So there are different mammal species specializing in different parts of the canopy in different times of the day as well. So that's very interesting. Now, book chronology. As you can see, there are not many Mammals of Borneo's books. The most recent ones are actually by Quentin Phillips, who actually lives in London, West Acton, and John Payne, who is actually originally from England as well, but he has been there for 47 years in Borneo. Maybe you've heard of him, John Payne. And Charles Francis also wrote with John Payne once, and as you can see, maybe some of you have friends like Lord Medway or Earl Banks and so on. So this is the chronology of the books, and then I have a pocket guide. My book is a no match to any of these real Bibles. Yeah, mine is a photographic book, but it's perhaps the most updated version. So the first person who actually worked on a book on mammals, I would say the recent times, the most comprehensive one, is John Payne. Some of you might know him. He is a Bornean expert on not only mammals, on conservation topics. He used to work on the Sumatran rhino, which sadly died in Malaysia. There are a few left maybe in Kalimantan, around 2 or 3, but there's no hope for them. They're going to be finished soon. Sumatra, there are a few left as well, but it's very dim. The Sumatran rhino case study is very, very sad. This is his first book, Mammals of Borneo. The people who have been to Borneo, maybe you guys have a copy of this book. Now, this is the best book around. Actually, I brought a copy if anybody wants to go through it later. Mammals of Borneo by Quentin Phillips. This is like so comprehensive. It's not just talking about each animal, but there's so many ecological elements as well. Lots of illustrations, lots of theories, lots of anecdotes as well. So this is a fantastic book. Quentin Phillips was actually born on Borneo, but now, like I said, he lives in West Acton. And yeah, this is a very, very comprehensive thing. And yeah, he was studying not far from here. And then we have my book, Pocket Guides of Mammals of Borneo. I realized basically there was a gap in the industry. Most of these books, lots of tourists and researchers, they don't want to carry thick books all the time when they're in the field. So I thought, why not we create a photographic book? Because most of the other books are illustrations, so I created basically a photographic book. And I also do research on mammals, especially under fruiting fig trees when lots of mammals are there, camel trapping and so on. So all 3 authors in one picture, and they're all very active in conservation. So this is Quentin Phillips. Again, some of you might know. He's a philanthropist and a conservationist. Funds and helps reforestation projects. This is John Payne, who is doing phenomenal work for the last 47 years in Borneo and Malaysia, and that's me. Like I said, I run my own conservation project. Now, this is the ideal vision for Borneo, having wildlife and people coexist. These 3 pictures are very rare examples. Unfortunately, like I said, due to rampant hunting and various other reasons, animals are very skittish on Borneo. But things are changing, especially in the state of Sabah, which is part of Malaysia, northern Borneo. Things are changing, mindsets are changing, wildlife tourism is booming. So hopefully this will change the mindset of local people as well, hire local people as well, hunters especially. Look at this, a deer in a football field. This is in Maleo Basin and Danum Valley. This is Tawau Hills Park. And look, a bearded pig just roaming around in Kuching, Sarawak. Again, a very rare sight, but this is a vision. Okay, endemic mammals on Borneo. We have around 21 primate species, I would say, on Borneo. And this list is going to increase more, especially due to genetic studies and everything. And then at least 12 endemic ones. This is the Natuna langur. This is actually found off the coast of Borneo on an island. Actually, I should have put a better map. Basically, this is on the west coast of Borneo. This species is only found on this particular island. So yeah, primates of Borneo, like I said, there are around 21 species of primates. Lots of them are mostly langurs actually. So this is a very rare langur. This is perhaps one of the rarest langurs in the world, monkeys, primates in the world, Sarawak langur. This is a camera trap photo. I've never seen it. Trust me, I go out a lot in the forest. I live in a national park as well. My friends are always out in the field. Almost nobody has seen this particular red moth. This is a camera trap photo. This is a Sabah greyleaf langur, but this is a white moth on a fig tree. Shavez langur, found mostly in Brunei, in Sarawak, and the Abex gibbon, which is found in South Borneo near Kuching area. So I think this is Kuching, Sarawak, southern Sarawak. This is where the rare langur is. This one is found around here, actually even here too. This is Brunei, the Shavez langur, the green color, as you can see. We have already put the colors there. And then we have this red, the Sabah grey langur, and this is Sabah. So Sabah, Brunei, Sarawak. So these are just some of the langurs and primates found on Borneo. Silver leaf langur, maybe some of you have seen it as well. So mostly these langurs are eating unripe fruit, young shoots, and we've actually recent times seen them eating figs as well. Flying squirrels. Wow, Borneo is like the epicenter, the hot spot for squirrel diversity. I think we have almost 36, 32 species of squirrels. If you include the shrews as well, are up to almost 40 species. Almost 15 of them are, I think, are endemic. So it's amazing. The flying squirrels, they're all nocturnal. So you have to do night walks, night drives, or use thermal scopes to find them. And the smaller species like the Jose's pygmy flying squirrel, they're very difficult. This is the whiskered, this is a montane species over here. Okay, actually, this is a montane, and that's a horsefields one. So flying squirrels are very difficult to find, and it's a big gap actually in the research world as well. So if you're interested in it, you have students who want to do some research, flying squirrels are very, very a very interesting topic. There's a lady from Kent, University of Kent, I think, Jessica Haston, who's doing some work on flying squirrels, but we need more work to be done. But they're not easy to find, especially the smaller species. But usually to find squirrels or any animal, you have to find their food source. You find their food source, you will find the animal, and the squirrels like nuts. They like larang fruit, for example. So that's how we find the squirrels and the other species of animals. So this is a fruiting fig tree called Ficus rosculata. It's fruiting usually near Tawau Hills of Borneo. On multiple occasions, I've seen the fruiting fig tree. Usually the bats come for it. But on many nights, I just see the insects, the katydids are eating them. And on multiple occasions, I will see a genetics flying squirrel land and go for the katydid. This is what my favorite part about the rainforest is, seeing the different behaviors, the ecology, how the fruiting tree attracts certain species of animals and attracts the predator. So it's really, really interesting. So I just wanted to show you that how a fruiting tree attracts insects and attracts squirrels. So this is a magnificent squirrel called the tufted ground squirrel. It's actually quite big, this big. And if you Google it, on Google, unfortunately, has put all these social media articles that this is a deer-eating squirrel. It has fangs and everything. Actually, the squirrel likes to eat acorns, and that's where I usually find it. And it's not dangerous at all. Actually, it doesn't hunt mammals either. But it is an absolutely magnificent squirrel, only found on Borneo. Other tree species of rats as well, the Raja rat and the great tree rat. Bats. Oh, if you like bats, Borneo is heaven. We have almost 90 species of bats on Borneo, around 16 to 17 species of fruit bats alone. The rest are insectivore bats. I always tell people, bats for me, especially the fruit bats, they're like the hornbills of the night. They're amazing dispersers. They eat figs, they eat different kind of fruits in the rainforest, and then they disperse them. They're amazing. unfortunately, they're just so underappreciated and killed by local people as well. Killed by local people because of misconception, they're misguided, they think they bring diseases like asthma, they bring diseases, in general, and people eat them actually on Borneo, some of these bats, because they think it will cure diseases or illnesses like asthma and so on. But actually, we try to tell people bats are good. They eat a lot of insects, they control the mosquito population. And there's a fruit called durian. Maybe some of you might have heard of durian. So at midnight, the durian tree, it has this flower. Bats are the ones which are pollinating them and dispersing. So if you like durian, we should protect bats. But if you don't like durian, we should still protect bats. Yeah. And these are some of the people working on bats on Borneo. Maybe some of you might know them. They have actually been to Oxford as well, some of them. Dr. Charles Francis, Ellen MacArthur, she lives in Mulu National Park. Ulmer Graf, he is the guy, maybe on National Geographic you found a bat going into pitcher plants. Well, this is the guy, in case you ever heard of this particular one. Chen Li is a close friend of ours. He's a world-class photographer. So yeah, these are some nice studio shots of bats. Yeah, the insectivore bats are really, really cool. I've seen them, just devour all these mosquitoes and termites in the park we live in. So I love bats. Now, Mulu bats. Mulu National Park. This is Mulu National Park. It's very interesting to know this because Brunei, from here until here, is all primary rainforest or very good forest. And over here is palm oil. So the bats in Mulu eat in Brunei and they come back at night. They have done bat research in Brunei. They caught the bats from Mulu and we're back here. Because they did some bat research here as well, no bats. Or very rarely they fly in. So most of the fruit bats and insectivore bats are going here. So it's a very, very interesting thing. So do Brunei's forests feed Sarawak bats? The answer is yes, they do. And they have been finding out. These are fruit bats, giant flying foxes, basically. They're also going into farms, eating rambutan fruit and so on. So I'm at the moment talking about this part of Borneo. Okay, like I was earlier on saying, flying foxes are unfortunately killed for various reasons. And it's quite sad why they do that. Now, again, they're very important as fruit dispersers for durian and so on. And also, bats are eaten by other animals like the hawk bat, for example. Even pied hornbills, they wait at the bat cave, go for the bat. So bats are very important in the ecosystem as predator, insects, dispersal, and also prey. We know vipers, pit vipers, sitting at fruiting trees waiting for the bats to come. Multiple times we have seen vipers and pythons eating bats as well. So bats are very important in the ecosystem. Deers, we have 5 species of deers. We have a samba deer and the world's smallest deers, the mouse deers. And mouse deers are actually pretty common, but they're very, very fragile. They're very sensitive to things. And we usually see them on the fruiting trees. I have one resident mouse deer behind my own lodge as well. And we have 2 different munchaks as well. The yellow and the red munchak. They're not easy to differentiate, but once you get into it, you will realize the difference. They both are fairly common. And the samba deer. However, the problem with the samba deers are they're heavily hunted amongst the local people. But again, very important in the ecosystem as dispersers and prey for animals like the clouded leopard. Bunting, Tambadao. This is the Bornean bunting. It's like the wild cow, wild cattle, pretty big. Boring for some animals because some people might think they're just another cow, but actually they are, a very, very iconic species. Unfortunately, in Borneo, at least in Sabah, there are only 300 or 400 left. Not sure how many in Kalimantan, Sarawak, and Brunei. They have been exterminated, literally. Especially during Christmas and Eid times, the poaching goes up because that's when people are going for these animals. I have only seen one bunting in my life, actually, during one night drive. So you can see how rare they are. Because buntings, like elephants, actually they like grass. They're like, young shoots and everything. They don't you won't really find them in the forest all the time. You usually find them in open areas. So the bunting is unfortunately a very shy animal facing extinction. Now, this is a very common question people ask me. Where is the best place to find mammals on Borneo? So the short answer is Sabah. Sabah is the best place to find them. But because I have to be diplomatic and I give talks and meet politicians and everybody in Sarawak and Brunei and Kalimantan, I have put a separate section for Brunei and Kalimantan after this. But in short, the answer is Sabah is the best place to see mammals, specifically East Coast Sabah. From number 4 to number 5, you draw a straight line. Anywhere here is very good for mammals, especially the bigger mammals. Why? Lack of hunting. Alluvial soils. Lack of hunting because there were not much road network. There are a lot of Muslims living here too, so they don't really hunt animals. In the west coast, we have a lot of indigenous communities here, so they have been actively hunting for centuries as well. Kinabalu Park is, I would say, number 6 is Kinabalu Park, yeah, is an exception because it's the only accessible mountain I know in Borneo which you can drive up, and you have so many endemic squirrels and shrews and everything. So it's very good for mammals, but most of them are on the east coast. So this is not in any order, they're all very unique. This is where we live in, good place for walks. Kinabatangan River, maybe some of you have been there, very good, sit on a boat ride and see so many species of mammals and birds in just one boat cruise. Dramakot and Maliao Basin and Danam Valley, very good for drives, night drives, morning drives, and so on. Kinabalu Park, like I said, slow walks looking for squirrels. So, Sarawak, the state, also has some nice parks like Tanjung Datu and Bakalangan, very good for smaller mammals as well. But the animals in Sabah are easier to spot, I would say, or they're a bit more habituated. But the advantage Sarawak has, they have endemic mammals. Like I said, the Sarawak langur, the Abbot gibbon, which is not found in Sabah or Brunei or Kalimantan. Well, the Abbot's gibbon is found in Kalimantan up to here. So that's why I put Sarawak as well. Brunei, quite interesting. Brunei is a sultanate actually. It's a small country on its own, basically here. Population is less than 500,000. Lots of forest over there. But wildlife research and wildlife tourism is not a very mature industry. So a lot of the forests are actually undisturbed. So there's a lot of potential for wildlife watching here still. A haven for flat-headed cats, for example, which is it likes water type of habitats where it goes to fishes and everything. So Brunei is pretty good for mammal watching as well, and these are some of the parks where the horses langur and some of the other animals are. Kalimantan, these are some of the parks over here which attract, which have some unique or endemic langurs, for example. The langurs only found in this particular state. Maratua is actually an island, but this is a highway for cetaceans and whales. So killer whales are here as well, false killer whales, different kind of dolphins, hoses, dolphins, spinners and everything. There are multiple dolphin species here, multiple whale species. So this is a very unique area. Sulawesi is here. So this is indeed a highway. So this is why I put Maratua here. Okay, wild cats. Some people just want to know where's the best place to see wild cats. This is a flat-headed cat, everyone. So the best place again to see wild cats are Dramakot, Tabing, Maliao. Basically all Sabah except this is in Brunei. So over here we do drives basically. So as you can see in my talk, I'm just putting in different topics, food for thought here and there. People also ask me, how long should we stay in Borneo to look for mammals? I would say 2 weeks is good. If you have more time, 3 weeks, 1 week is pushing it, but 3 weeks is 2 to 3 weeks is good. And I would say this is a pretty good, depending how much money you have and how much time you have. I think you must do at least Dramakot. Brunei optional. Dramakot, Kinabalu, Kinabatangan, Danam, and Tawau, or one of this. So I would say this is one of the best ideal situation to do a mammal watching trip on the island of Borneo. because this way you also go through different landscapes. You do boat rides, you do night drives, you do walks, and so on. If you're also interested in mammals, you should go to this Facebook page, Borneo Mammal Club, or there's a website called mammal-watching.com. It was founded by an American guy, actually a British guy, but living in the States. His name is John Hall, and this is basically the Bible for mammal watchers. So the bird watchers have their own websites, reptile people have their website. So for mammals, you have to go to mammal-watching.com. Once you go to the website, you click Africa, Uganda, or India, or Brazil, or Borneo, and you will see trip reports of other people who have done trips or new records. So this is a very important resource. So I've clicked Borneo here, John Hall, and you can see trip reports. Here, 2023, this person went there, this person. So you can learn and share your data there. Now, this is also a very important topic. Like I said, I run an NGO, but recently I registered a travel group as well. Recently, meaning 6 years ago. What I've learned is, why is the places I mentioned just now, Danang Valley, Kinabalu, etc., why are they doing so good and other places are not? To have a successful wildlife tourism company, model, product, service, whatever you want to call it, you must have two things. Number one, infrastructure. Number two, wildlife. Infrastructure basically means you need to have roads, accommodation, food, Wi-Fi, etc. Number two, wildlife. If you don't have wildlife, you can't do wildlife tourism. So this is I know it sounds common sense, but this is the trend basically I saw in all these successful places. And then what I do is I go to different parts of Borneo trying to identify new places which have both. Because I've seen the light, at least I've seen a different way. So I try to develop new community tourism projects for local people. So projects are sustainable and they care about animals. So this is a kulugu, a flying, gliding mammal from Borneo. It's not a flying squirrel, it's a kulugu. And this picture is taken from a drone actually. I droned it basically. Borneo elephant, very interesting topic. I'll touch on this after this. I think in Borneo we have around 1,500 to 2,000 elephants still, Bornean elephants. We don't use the word pygmy much anymore. People, maybe most of you know them as Borneo pygmy elephants, but we don't really use the word pygmy anymore. I'll explain in a second. And then we have the dolphins. This is an orangutan, but the reason I'm sharing this photo is because it's not in a rainforest. This is a albizia plantation. Orangutans can live in plantations, whether it's acacia, albizia, or palm oil. Is that a preferred habitat? Of course not. That's a different topic. But they can. So this is why I just shared this photo. This is the mother and the baby. They were breeding in this plantation. Just wanted to show you this. So we have to find we're trying our best to work with logged forests, plantations, coexistence, so we can create new project sites. Okay, same thing basically. The reason why Sabah is doing so good compared to other parts of Borneo is because they have good transport and accommodation and abundant wildlife basically. And like I said earlier on, why Sabah is doing good, rich alluvial soil, mostly cheap because East Coast Sabah has a lot of extinct volcanoes, so the soil is really, really alluvial. Now what I mean by that is, let's take an example. Let's say there's a palm oil plantation. In 1 hectare football field size of plantation in the east coast of Sabah, they can produce between 15 to 20 tons, 15 to 25 tons of palm oil in 1 year. Whereas in west coast of Borneo or in other parts of Borneo, it might be between 9 to 15 tons. So the soil is really, really rich in east coast of Sabah. Okay, what are the best ways to look for wildlife on Borneo? Because you see, Borneo is not like Africa or South America, where you go in a 4-wheel car and look for wildlife left, right, center. Borneo is totally opposite. Maybe you'll do a night drive for 7 hours and see nothing. Alright? So mammal watching is not easy on Borneo. We can show you animals, we can show you stick insects and everything. But people want to see mammals. So you have to be prepared. When you come to Borneo, or you know Borneo, it's not easy to find big animals. So what are the strategies we use? As many night drives as possible, because we cover so much distance. It's a game of statistics basically. You know, we cover 20 kilometers one way, 40 kilometers. So hopefully we'll be covering multiple territories of animals. Look for the food source. This is a sad picture for some. These are elephants in a palm oil plantation, but actually they're enjoying themselves. They've cut down palm oil plantation recently in a particular area to plant new palm oil. But before that, when they cut down the new palm oil, or old palm oil, all elephants were there, like hundreds of them. They were like rats actually. They were just enjoying the sago of the bark of the tree and everything. So if you know their food source, you'll find the animal. Figs, for example. Fig, this is the binturong on a fig tree. If it's a fig tree, not only you'll find binturongs, you'll find gibbons and hornbills and everything. It's a great spectacle. So you find a food source, you do drives, and red lights and thermal scopes. We try our best to use red lights, very bright red lights, and thermal scopes as much as possible to look for wildlife. It's not always practical, so we sometimes do a normal night walk or drive using normal flashlights. But the moment we do find an animal, we switch to red lights and so on. So this is one way to find mammals. Thermal scope is, the disadvantage with thermal scopes is they're very expensive. Some of them are like £2,000-3,000 pounds. But recently we found a Chinese company called infrared and they were selling for $300. So this is the result from that $300 one. Pretty good, not bad. But the most famous company is the Pulsar, I think. A lot of people from the States and Europe bring that mono thermal scope to Borneo. It's very difficult to actually bring it over or at least purchase it because it's a controlled item. So yeah, but thermal scopes are great. Look at this. This is sleeping macaques over here. There's a flying squirrel over here, and it's really fun. So endemic mammals. Again, if some of you are really interested, we've made a list of them, and I have the book over here. As you can see, many of them are bats and shrews. Some of them are langurs. Okay, proboscis monkey is here too. A lot of langurs basically, and squirrels, as you can see, which are endemic, and rats, different kind of rats and mouse, which are endemic to Borneo. Bay cat, perhaps it's the bay cat over here, is perhaps the rarest cat in the world. I think almost nobody has seen them. Very few people have seen them actually, and very few people have even photographed it. Camel trapping, oh my god. I have done at least maybe, I've been camel trapping for 12 years. I personally have never caught it on my own camel trap. My colleagues have, but again, that's through random luck sometimes. You put them in different sites, you get them. So bay cat is really difficult. This is just showing you some, this is again, like I said, it was general talk for people. Some of you may not be used to the Bornean animals. Just want to show you how some of the animals in Borneo look like in other parts. So this is the tarsier in Sulawesi and a tarsier of Borneo, a slow loris of Borneo. Well, this is not a slow loris, an eye, but it has a big eye as well. So just wanted to show you some animals around the world, comparing it with Borneo. So we have the otters on Borneo, the smooth-coated otters. We have 3 species of otters on Borneo: smooth-coated, small-clawed, and the hairy-nosed. Hairy-nosed is ultra rare. This is the giant otter in the Americas. Bears, this is a very small bear. The sun bear is not very big actually. It's like maybe this big, you know. The sun bear is not very big, not a very big animal. It's nocturnal and diurnal. We've seen them on the fig trees, we've seen them just walking on roads. But sun bears are actually widely spread out in Borneo, but very small, in very small numbers. They're not very, they don't have a big population, I would say. Ocelot, leopard cat, clouded leopard, this one. Clouded leopards, not easy to find, but actually they love logging roads. We always find them in logging roads during our drive. The apex predator, wild crew here in Oxford as well. There's been lots of research on clouded leopards in Borneo and other parts of Southeast Asia. We have the jaguar in South America, but we have the clouded leopard. The biggest cat on Borneo, I would say the biggest predator on Borneo is the clouded leopard. But it's not really that big. The male clouded leopard, I would say, is like your retriever, your golden retriever or something. The female clouded leopards are quite small. The female clouded leopards are quite diurnal, quite arboreal as well. And many of the photographers have seen them on canopy trees. hunting langurs and monkeys and so on. We have the gibbons and the howler monkey, very vocal species, both of them. We have the Sunda pangolin, and then we have the armadillos. Both of them are also anteaters. Okay, I wrote an article on the mammals of mammal-watching.com website. It's called the rarest endemic mammals of Borneo, and these are just some of the species, like the Horses langur and the Sabah. This is the Sabah grey leaf. This is the white grey leaf. We're not sure yet if this is an albino or just a white morph. So we don't know much yet. So there's a lot of gap in the study. So again, some of your students here looking for your projects in the future, I'm just throwing in topics here for you guys, or maybe some of your professors looking for topics. Yeah, this is on a salt lake. This Horses langur went down and is at a salt lake enjoying itself. Another very rare mammal is the Kinabalu parrot badger. So far, only recorded from the Kinabalu Park and the adjacent mountains nearby. They are only found in very high elevations, like 1500 meters and above, or 1800 meters, and very, very rare. I don't know many people, again, myself personally, who have seen it. I've never seen it. My partner Chun saw it, but it was dead on the road. I think it fell down from a cliff in Kinabalu Park, sadly. This is the tufted ground squirrel earlier on. I was showing to you how beautiful it is actually. Horrible photo, but this is called the Horses palm civet. It's a civet species only found in Borneo, and it is a sub-montane and montane species. Very difficult to photograph. I've seen it once actually, this one, but very skittish. This is the bay cat. Andrew Hearn and Joanna Ross, I think this Andrew Hearn is from Oxford as well, or at least Wild Crew. He's not here today, unfortunately. And yeah, this is their photo basically. I don't have a photo. It's just such a rare animal. Other rare mammals of Borneo, which are not really endemic, except the sun bear, is actually the dugong. The dugong is a marine mammal, quite rare. Very few people see it now. They die because of trawlers. You know, when they do trawling fishing. So their populations are almost very low. I only know 1 pound left in Borneo where there are regular sightings. Regular meaning once in like 3 months. So they are very rare, and I feel like they're underappreciated. You know, because like this, I think you were having this discussion with friends earlier on. Most of the attention goes to the sexy animals, the orangutans, the clouded leopards, the elephants, and etc. But the smaller species or other, unique species, they lose interest. Otter civet, not an easy animal to find as well. And the hairy nose otter, it's usually solitary, very difficult to find. Some of these are the cryptic species like the flying squirrels as well here. Like this is the MLEs. People are not even sure this really exists. They might be mistaking it for the Horses pygmy, for example. Smoky flying squirrel is a species of squirrel recorded in so many guidebooks, but nobody actually has an evidence, like a real photo of it. And even if you research on Borneo or in the region, there are not many pictures. Eurasian otter, somebody recorded from Borneo once. It was crazy actually. And I disputed that big time. So in my book, I clearly say it doesn't exist. I did confront the other authors as well, and I tried to ask them, why did you put this in the book, and etc., etc. We had a discussion back and forth. Long story short, I think this person made a mistake. He posted on social media once that he found this otter. He never, maybe made a mistake, didn't want to admit it. But we did some research from museum specimens as well. There is no record of Eurasian otters, but it's disputed because this picture was taken from Danam Valley apparently. But there's so much research going on in Danam Valley, camera trapping and researchers and tourists. Nobody has seen it except this one American tourist who came there. So it was a bit questionable. Again, I'm not doubting it, but I'm just saying cryptic species. Maybe these are topics of interest for some of you, and maybe you can do. Slow loris, the reason why I put slow loris here, even scientists can't agree. How many species of slow loris are there in Borneo? 5 or 2? So, because some of the species have never actually been really caught properly, and they were described based on morphology or through trade and skin and everything. So slow loris is a very interesting topic in Borneo. So yeah, I just put this picture here. This is a Philippine slow loris found in Sabah. I photographed this one. Elephants. Ooh, elephants are very interesting topic. So where did elephants come from in Borneo? Big topic. Everybody asks this question. At least people who are interested in Borneo. Nobody really knows. Some people say it was from the Sulu Sultan. They gifted one to Sabah or Borneo. Some people say it came from Java, from Sumatra, when Borneo was, it was still connected to the mainland. Were they introduced through trade? Was it always here? So there was one genetic study saying that they are indeed a unique species. And so far, the consensus among some of the scientists have been that they're very closely related to the Javan elephant as well. So it is proven for now that Bornean elephant is a species on its own. I mean, it's an Asian elephant group. And but they're only found on the east coast of Sabah. They're not found in Brunei, they're not found in Sarawak, they're not found in Kalimantan. Well, Kalimantan they found in North Kalimantan, bordering Sabah, the ones which go from basically Sabah. So Borneo elephants are a very interesting topic, and so on. So the word pygmy elephant, like I said, we don't really use the word pygmy elephant anymore. Is because the word pygmy elephant was used because to get attention. Most of the attention was going to the African elephant and the Indian elephants to raise funds and so on. So they wanted to know, how do we get more public interest, especially from Europe and the States? So they put the word pygmy, Borneo pygmy elephant. Smallest species of elephant. Actually, the Borneo elephant is almost the same size as the Sumatran and the Javan elephant. They're not that small. I mean, they're small, but they're not like small, what you're thinking, They're still an elephant. So we don't really use the word Bornean elephant, Borneo pygmy elephant anymore. It was used as like I said, created by in WWF time and popularized even that time. So don't get me wrong, they're still very cool elephants and awesome and everything. And the best place to see them is actually East Coast Sabah. This Kalabakan road is near Tawau, East Coast, where actually I live. Sometimes when I'm driving up and down that road in the evenings, you'll see the elephant on the side of the plantation and so on, Malaya Basin. So some of the elephant issues are actually circus. In the 1960s or 50s, some of the elephants were brought in or used for circus in some time. Logging industry is a big problem. I think you all have heard of palm oil and the logging industry. Actually, that's a totally different topic. I have to give a presentation on its own. Palm oil is a very, very complicated topic. It's not black, it's not white, it's gray. It's very, very complicated. We have to blame the world for it. We can blame the producer of it. It's very complicated. So I'm not going to touch the topic right now. But if anybody wants to talk about palm oil, I'm happy to extend more, maybe during a question and answer, or after this we can have some drinks and we can talk about it. But that's a very complex topic. All I just want to tell you guys is palm oil is here to stay. If you can call it necessary evil, you can call it green gold, but it's a very complex topic. But I'm not going to touch in detail. But palm oil, elephants love palm oil plantations. They're walking around in plantations, and they like the grass growing inside of the plantations. So, but the plantation owners don't like them, so they do this sometimes. Okay, but a lot of NGOs working in Sabah, they're trying to find solutions to mitigate. So we are finding out that if you electric fence only the young palm, which is 6 years and below, elephants will be happier. They won't disturb it because elephants are targeting the young palm. Because in the past, palm oil plantations used to electric fence the whole plantation, which made the elephants angry because they're hungry. Hangry is never a good thing, right? You all know. Your friends, your partner, hangry is very dangerous. So what they did was they only electric fenced the young palm, let the elephants walk freely. They collared some of the elephants so they know exactly where they're walking, so they can shoo them away from the young palm for the plantation which can't afford too much electric fencing. So they're trying methods. There's some NGOs like bringing back our rare animals, Bora. They're planting lots of napier young grass, cutting them as well, young shoots. So elephants only eat the grass and not the young palm. Some of the new laws is to have buffer zones and riparian zones and plant a lot of trees. So elephants go for them, not the palm. There are solutions coming in slowly. So this is why I like Sabah is on the right track. Brunei did have elephants apparently gifted to them, but if the theory is if the elephants were in Brunei, why did they never go to Sarawak or Sabah? So the elephants which did go to Brunei, basically they were gifted by various people, as you can see. Diet of elephants. Elephants go for everything. We have seen them eat figs, we have seen them eat wild mango, we have seen them eat durian, we have seen them eat grass, banana, and palm oil. So elephants are very important dispersers in the ecosystem. They love being near salt licks and mud volcanoes as well. So elephants are very cool animals in Sabah, and we find them in various areas. Dolphins, let's talk quickly about dolphins. Most of these dolphins, which I'm going to talk about, these are the bay dolphins or the riverine dolphins. These are not like the open sea dolphins, because that could be a huge topic. There are many species coming in and out. The most common dolphin species on Borneo are the Irrawaddy dolphin and the Indo-Pacific humpback dolphin. Irrawaddy dolphin, I would say Borneo could even be a stronghold for Irrawaddy dolphins. They're not in big numbers, but they're quite widespread in bays. Dugong, very scarce. Okay, another problem for some of the animals is poaching. Pangolins are poached in big numbers. Syndicates exist on Borneo. I know poachers. I know syndicates myself personally. You know, I have to work with these people, unfortunately, sometimes, or have to try to put them in trouble here and there. I've been in trouble myself multiple times as well. So poaching is a big problem, whether it's pangolins or other animals, pet trade, and so on. Bad electric lines. A lot of electric lines in Borneo, in some of the villages especially, the coating is not very good. So you'll see dead animals hanging, like flying foxes and lorises and so on. So we try our best to work with the places where we work to convince the road department, for example, to fix the coating, but we can only do so much. And road infrastructure network, roads being built through forest reserves. This is a big problem. So this is why scientific data is so important to tell the government, look, certain species do not like any disturbances. But this is happening as we speak. And of course, Malaysian, Indonesian, and other governments might say, look, we need development. We are trying to develop our own country as well. But anyway, this is the problem. How do you find a solution? Cats and dogs. They are a big problem too. They're found in almost every single national park even. Some of the rangers are keeping them as pets, right? Or they just wander around, and they're not good because the cat, don't get me wrong, I love cats and dogs. I have a cat as a pet as well. My neighbor has a nice dog. As long as they're home, they're fine. But I don't like them near national parks. I don't like them in national parks. I think I don't really have to explain why. They go for local animals. They kill them sometimes. They scare them off sometimes. And it's quite sad. I mean, look at this. A cat eating a flower pecker. This one is near the lodge as well. So cats and dogs are a big problem in the parks in Borneo. They do come, and even some of the deepest parts like Diamond Valley, they will get a cat or a dog maybe. How do they reach there? Rangers might be keeping them. Ooh, palm oil. Palm oil. This one really, what time is it? I could really go on for like 1 hour just on palm oil, but I'm not going to go in too much detail about palm oil. But it started 50 years ago. It has been very popularized because multiple parts of palm oil can be used for various things. Big movement going on to boycott palm oil as well. But the consequences if we do that, you know, the wildlife is not coming back, the trees are not going to be grown back. You still need an alternative vegetable oil if we boycott the palm oil. Because olive, soy, and corn, they are not innocent either, by the way, you know, and other things. So palm oil is a very, very complicated topic. But these are some of the animals actually we find regularly in palm oil plantations. Actually, not clouded leopard, sorry. I don't know why it's over here. No, this is something else, sorry. This is talking about some of the dead animals. In palm oil plantations, we have a lot of raptors still, lots of pigs, lots of normal pigs. Pigs are a big problem, actually. Deers are still there, porcupines are there. So palm oil does have wildlife, actually. Some animals are really benefiting there, but the diversity has crashed. But palm oil is here to stay, unfortunately, for now. Palm oil existence with wildlife, is it possible? Pangolins. I think we have rescued over hundreds of pangolins. Many of them come from plantations, especially when they're cutting down old palm. Pangolins love sometimes sleeping on top of the palm oil husk. They sleep over there. So we have caught them multiple times over there. We have seen them at night in the plantations as well. So we're trying to tell plantation owners, if you see animals like elephants, you see animals like pangolins, leopard cats, civets, don't call us. Let's coexist to a mutual benefit. It is their home. The orangutan, which is living in the plantation, it's their home. Let's not disturb them. Let's try to coexist. That's the least we can do, at least in the areas we are based in. Rhino, Sumatran rhino. Let me just talk about this quickly. Long story short, we don't have any rhinos left in Sabah, in Malaysia. A few left in Borneo, in Kalimantan. Why did the rhinos go extinct? Not just because of poaching. No. Poaching is not the main reason why the rhinos went extinct. Rhino population was already down. By 1930s, the Sumatran rhino of Borneo was already one of the critically endangered mammals. Their birth rate was slower than death rate. Okay? What really sped up the process was, due to isolated parks, they used to have 1 or 2 rhinos only. So their breeding went even slower. So they did try to catch them up, put them in a center so they can breed. But then there were problems there. What were the problems? Number one, when they put the male and female rhinos, they had never met each other before. They didn't even know how to mate. They were like, what is that thing? That was a big problem that happened. Then all the male rhinos they had, the sperm count was so low. And all the female rhinos had lots of cysts. So there were a lot of problems, low sperm count, not enough eggs being produced. They're trying to do IVF now, they're trying to breed them trying to clone them and everything. And it's not easy. It's not easy to find the rhino. Then another problem is, what if they successfully grow one in the lab? Which is going to be the surrogate? You're thinking another rhino, right? Like the African rhino. No, it's not possible. Different genus. They're finding out which animal will be the perfect surrogate. So they're still doing research. They think the horses might be the best one because they have done so much research on it, similar size and so on. But that's a topic which will come later on. We need to find enough rhino eggs still to, put them together. Hopefully, Sumatra, Indonesia will successfully increase the population in the centers. They had one successful calf, I think, this year, but it's still very, very slow. It's very dim at the moment, the rhino hope. Okay, quickly, some other topics I'm going to touch on. Macaques. Long-tailed macaques is a very interesting topic. They're all over Borneo, and all over Borneo there are different problems. In some parts of Borneo, there are not enough macaques. They've been hunted out by local people. We need more macaques over there. In some places, there's too many macaques for various reasons which I don't want to go into. So what do we do in some places where there are too many? Like in cities, there are too many, for example. And when there are too many, they can be aggressive, they can bring malaria and everything. They do bring in. My own team members, 4 of them have had malaria. Monkey malaria. Okay, even I think wild crew team members have had malaria because too many macaques in some areas. When there are too many macaques in some areas, they disturb local wildlife. Why are there too many macaques in some areas? They are smart. They know the carbon leopards are not going to come in, for example, in human areas to hunt them. So they breed like crazy. People are feeding them. They're stressing the orangutan. They're killing sometimes the red-leaf monkeys. So what do we do with macaques? In some places where there's an overpopulation. Even for reforestation projects, like my reforestation project, my biggest problem are macaques. They're taking all my young shoots out, and even other NGOs are having similar problem. So what do we do with macaques? So some people do this, cull. We have to cull them. There's no other solution. If you put them in another place, it becomes another person's problem, right? You put them, you nurture them. It's too expensive. Locals are not going to do it. So what solution do we do for macaques? But there's no one solution, please. In one area, this is the macaque solution. Like I said, in this place, they're not on macaques. But due to political reasons, they're not going to throw the macaques from there to there. It's a very complex issue. But macaque problem is becoming an issue in the political line of things. Orangutans. There's so many orangutans in this area, but so few orangutans in this area. Why? Nobody knows. Primatologists don't know. Nobody knows. Is it because of volcanic eruptions? Is it because of big rivers? There's enough food source for sure. So there are less orangutans in Tawau Hills in Maleo Basin, but lots of orangutans here. We do not know why. It's not because of hunting. because other animals are doing fine there. Brunei, for example, doesn't have many orangutans. Brunei is enough land for thousands of orangutans. So why don't they have orangutans? Is it because of hunting by indigenous people or what? So there have been some push as well by some groups that maybe we should reintroduce some of the orangutans there or bring them back, because some of the orangutan centers in Kalimantan, they're full of orangutans. But again, a very sensitive topic for a lot of people. So I'm just throwing in this idea. Okay, so a quick one. Okay, symbiotic relationship between some mammals. This is bearded pigs. This is flying frogs. How do we find flying frogs usually in the jungle? We try to find bearded pigs. When bearded pigs and rhinos formerly, they had wallows, flying frogs would be there, laying their eggs at night. That's how we find flying frogs usually. So it's a very, very interesting relationship. Bearded pigs, where they also dig so much soil, the ground pheasants are following them, like the ground cuckoo, looking for the worms and so on. So just, again, a quick food for thought there. However, we have a big problem. African swine flu has arrived a few years ago, and it has decimated the population of bearded pigs, maybe by 99%. I have not seen a bearded pig myself for 3-4 years. They used to be everywhere, behind the room, here and there, crossing the road. We do not see them anymore. Luckily, they're coming back slowly, which is good in some places, but we don't know for how long. Maybe it's just an old population which was hiding, maybe it's becoming more daring, or we don't know yet if the new breeding population, if it meets some 1 or 2 old individuals which might still have the swine flu, if they meet, will it again destroy the population? We're not sure. But this has been a big problem for Bornean ecology, because even animals like crocodiles, for example, you see even more crocodiles everywhere, left and right and center. So some people are correlating that lack of pigs, crocodiles are becoming more daring, becoming a threat to humans. So people are shooting crocodiles like crazy now in Borneo, because crocodiles are literally everywhere, more attacks are happening as well. And a lot of local people have lost some food source as well, bearded pigs. So this is a very, very interesting topic. Where did it come from? Apparently it came from some through illegal trade. Some immigrants who apparently from one island were coming to Borneo through one particular trade route. They brought in the swine flu from there and spread like wildfire, literally. Again, going back to my earlier note, if you want to find mammals of Borneo, you have to find their food source. So they love figs. Here we go. They love acorns and nuts. This is again different kind of nuts which are preferred by different kinds of squirrels and shrews, rhinos, and everything. So, okay, another problem, interesting problem we are seeing in disturbed places like Kinabatangan, secondary forest, and so on, is different moths are popping up more than ever. We have this white silverleaf monkey here, golden silverleaf monkey. And this one is a proboscis monkey hybrid with a silverleaf monkey, I think. Geez, that was claimed in the peer-reviewed journal came out, which was published early last year or something. So, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? What's really happening? We've seen lots of wildlife in secondary forests and Kinabatangan River and everything, but we suddenly see this. This is bad for genetics as well. So we do not know what's going on in Sabah, for example, or in other parts of Borneo. These moths popping up left and right. Feeding stations are popping up in some parts. Is this good? Is this bad? Like even bird feeding stations are happening. So a lot of people are against it. But other people might argue that, hey, this is good for tourism. Brings in money, save the forest, and so on. So I'm just throwing in again another food source. Reforestation. Lots of reforestation initiatives are happening in Borneo, in Sabah, in Sarawak, in Kalimantan. And we're basically connecting isolated, fragmented reserves on Borneo. So some people are planting dipterocrop, hardwood trees. Some are only planting, let's say, peat swamp trees. And some NGOs, like our NGOs, we're planting lots of figs. Whenever we see animals like gibbons and hornbills eat them, we grow them. So reforestation, this is a very positive thing happening in Borneo. Lots of reforestation initiatives, lots of projects happening. So actually, if you guys want to support reforestation related projects, there are lots happening in Sabah. If there's some students who want to volunteer their time to do internship and attachments, you're most welcome as well. These are some of the other mammals of Borneo books which have been published by different people on various topics. As you can see, we have orangutan one here, you have the sun bear and the bunting one here. These are some of the NGOs, just some. Okay, these are some of the NGOs working on conservation in Borneo. As you can see, Gibbon Society, Nature Society, and so some of you might know this. I'm just sharing this in case you guys are interested to learn more about them, volunteer, support them, etc. And that was basically it. I hope I touched various topics, food for thought, made you think about different things. So thank you for your time and patience, and I hope you enjoyed it. So I think if any questions.
Thank you very much, Shavez. We might have time for a couple quick questions, and then we'll move the discussion to the pub, if that's okay with you.
No problem.
Yep.
Yes.
Hi, so thank you so much for the talk. That was very delightful. I'm also from Southeast Asia, so I'm really happy to see someone doing like a really cool initiative. I would just like to ask, like, you said that Brunei does not have like a very big wildlife tourism sector. So I was just curious, like, what would Brunei need to promote, like, to promote a wildlife tourism sector? And adding to that, one of the foundations of having a successful wildlife tourism is having road infrastructure. So would that also lead to habitat fragmentation, which would eventually feed back into something negative?
What do you mean the negative part? Sorry, could you explain?
Like having a successful wildlife tourism also needs like road infrastructure, and that could maybe lead to cutting up major forest habitats. Is that something?
Yeah. Okay. So Brunei doesn't have much wildlife tourism, and that's because the population is just so small. There's just not enough people working in the industry. Actually, that's the real issue. So that's the only reason why I think Brunei doesn't have a big wildlife tourism industry. Lack of interested people. And regarding road network, I'm not really saying anything that we have to cut down more forest, build more roads to do wildlife tourism. I'm just thinking of existing places which have been cut down already and which have already have road networks. We should just do tourism there. I'm not saying we should cut down anything new. Just because the damage has been done by whatever industry, and let's just capitalize and mitigate there. But not encouraging or asking anybody to do that in any part of Borneo or Southeast Asia, actually.
Thank you.
Awesome. An opportunity for one last question before we wrap up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Very good talk. Do you think orangutans ever lived in Brunei?
I think they might have lived there because Sarawak is where Mulu National Park is bordering Sabah. Brunei, it's like only 5, it's bordering literally. And Mulu they were up to 19. Actually, Mulu they're still there in Mulu in some parts of Mulu. I just don't believe why they're not there. It's just that in Sabah and Sarawak, there's hundreds of people working in the forest every day. So there's a higher chance of spotting them. In Brunei, we just don't have enough people working in the field. So maybe they just don't see them. Not enough trail systems. So I think they were there once upon a time. Could still be there actually. Just
Can we reintroduce them?
pardon?
Can we reintroduce them?
Well, that's what some of us are encouraging, which would boom the tourism industry, I think, or even the whole some of the forests, because we do know they have been hunted. Animals have been hunted in the area, so that could be done. But I just think Brunei doesn't want to be on the world map too much. They don't want too much attention. So, yes, sir.
One of the things you're talking about those feeding stations, have you found serious negative consequences of having those feeding stations within some of those lodges in those areas?
Nobody's done any concrete research actually on the negative impacts. I mean, you see the squirrels and the pheasants are there, right? Enjoying themselves and everything. So, like I said, a lot of people might be complaining that this is not a good idea, we shouldn't do it. But some people might say that even if there is a negative consequence, let's say to a certain amount of animals which are coming there, but it's bringing millions to the economy. So my quick answer to your question is, nobody has done any research yet. So I can't answer. I haven't seen any negative major impact yet.
I think the bottom line of today's talk is if you're looking for a dissertation topic, come and talk to Shavez because you will have quite a few ideas afterwards.
Yes.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Shavez. It's been a pleasure to have you. Could we give Shavez a round of applause?